North Korea tests its biggest missile yet. It could reach the United States. North Korea won't stop there. Welcome to America Uncovered. I'm Chris Chappell. As Russia launches missiles into Ukraine, North Korea launched its own missile last week. They did something nefarious while everyone else was distracted. Kind of like farting during a fireworks show. Diabolical. And this wasn't just any missile. This was an intercontinental ballistic missile, or ICBM for short. This is the first time since 2017 that North Korea has launched a long-range missile like this. And Kim Jong-un got dressed up for the occasion, Top Gun style.
전략무기 시험 발사 성공의 기쁨이 발사장에 차고 넘쳤습니다.
Wow. I haven't seen that much posturing and overcompensating since this guy. You may want to turn your volume down. You know, Kim Jong-un's father was into making movies, and it looks like that flair for the dramatic rubbed off on his son. Not that I think anyone will be flocking to the box office to see his next drama anytime soon. According to North Korea's state broadcaster, the launch was of a Hwasong-17. If true, this would make it the biggest missile North Korea has ever successfully launched.
It was fired on a lofted trajectory that took it 3,700 miles into space and 670 miles into the Sea of Japan, higher and farther than any other North Korean missile has flown.
Faster, higher, stronger. Kind of like the Olympics, only if instead of countries competing against each other in synchronized swimming, they tried blowing each other up. Not only is this North Korea's biggest ICBM, experts say it could reach anywhere in the United States.
For the first time since this launch more than 4 years ago, North Korea has tested a long-range missile capable of reaching the United States and raised concerns Kim Jong-un could soon have an ICBM armed with multiple nuclear warheads. The commander of American Air Defenses told Congress the day may be coming when he can no longer shoot down incoming North Korean missiles.
I'm comfortable with where we are today. Going forward, I do believe that they could exceed my capacity and capabilities.
That's right. Because this is such a big missile, it could potentially carry multiple nuclear warheads, which makes it much more difficult to defend against. Oh no, it's time to panic. Unless, of course, you live in Montana, because I doubt Kim Jong-un's plan to take out America is to nuke the Missoula Cracker Barrel. Also, all of this is only worrisome if North Korea's claims are true. U.S. and South Korean officials say North Korea's latest missile test may not have been what it claimed. Yes, they're saying that North Korea faked the test launch. Analysis of satellite images by NK News suggests the footage of last week's launch came from a failed Hwasong-17 launch the week before. U.S. and South Korean officials are considering the possibility that North Korea may instead have launched the Hwasong-15. The Hwasong-15 is smaller and lighter, which means it won't be able to carry as much as the Hwasong-17. Exaggerating reality to make himself look better? Surely that's not something this guy would do. But even if it is just a Hwasong-15, the recent test shows that North Korea is improving its ICBM capabilities. While the new missile did not go far from the coast, its altitude was far higher than past tests and appeared to be meant to demonstrate that North Korea could flatten the weapon's trajectory and hit the continental United States with ease. And after the break, North Korea isn't stopping there. Welcome back. North Korea tested an intercontinental ballistic missile that could carry nuclear warheads last week. Days after the ICBM test, North Korean dictator Kim Jong-un was quoted in state media as saying his country will develop more powerful strike means to more vigorously perfect the nuclear war deterrence of the country. He says these are to defend North Korea against threats from the imperialists. He wants to make the West eat its words, while countless North Koreans who are currently starving are thinking, I wish I had words to eat. While this is its first ICBM launch in 4 years, North Korea hasn't stopped testing its other military capabilities. In the past 6 months, North Korea has tested a new submarine-launched ballistic missile, a train-mounted ballistic missile, a new surface-to-air defense missile system, a long-range strategic cruise missile, and multiple hypersonic missiles. It's like Kim Jong-un saw the movie Planes, Trains, and Automobiles and thought, I bet I could put missiles on all of those. And we could see more nuclear tests as well. South Korean defense officials say North Korea appears to be restoring a tunnel to one of its nuclear test sites. North Korea also plans to launch a satellite in order to spy on the U.S. and its allies. This could kill 2 birds with 1 stone for North Korea. If successful, it would improve the accuracy of any ICBMs it launches and test out the technology needed to launch them. Meanwhile, while they're looking to put satellites into space, many of its people are literally trying to kill 2 birds with 1 stone so they can feed their families. North Korea has already put 2 observation satellites into orbit, but those launches were meant mainly to test its launch technology, which can be used to put a satellite into orbit or launch an ICBM. There is no evidence that the satellites have ever relayed space-based imagery back to the North. Cool, so they're basically just decorative satellites. In North Korea, a popular saying is, we can put a man in space, but we can't bring a man back and prevent him from dying a terrifying, lonely death in space. North Korea's missile tests coincide with some important anniversaries. This year marks Kim Jong-un's first decade in power, the 80th birthday of his deceased father, and the 110th birthday of his grandfather. This year also marks when Top Gun 2 finally comes out, and you can tell Kim is most excited about that. But on top of all that, South Korea just elected a new president. He doesn't take office until May, but North Korea may be testing his response to see how he reacts once he does. It's something of a North Korean tradition to provoke South Korea whenever they get a new president. Think of a missile launch as a giant congratulations balloon. North Korea does this to force the new South Korean president to choose between escalation and appeasement. South Korea's current president has tried to unify North and South Korea through dialogue. The incoming president has promised to take a harder line on North Korea and build up the South's military. The Russia-Ukraine crisis happening is just the icing on the cake. Many analysts say Kim Jong-un is taking advantage of the West's attention focused on Europe to get away with its missile tests. I'll tell you more about that after the break. Welcome back. North Korea chose to test a long-range ballistic missile in the middle of a tense global situation. South Korea is in the middle of a transition of power. Russia is at war with Ukraine. The world is still reeling from the COVID-19 pandemic. Iran has fired missiles into Iraq. Celebrities are attacking each other at awards shows. Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria. This may be a coincidence, or North Korea might be taking advantage of the chaos to avoid scrutiny. President Biden made vague threats that there would be responses if North Korea continues its tests, but also said he's open to diplomacy. So far, the U.S. has only told the UN it's planning to introduce more sanctions for North Korea. And those sanctions are likely to go exactly nowhere. You see, back in 2017, when North Korea conducted nuclear and ballistic missile tests, the UN Security Council unanimously supported sanctions on North Korea. Even Russia and China supported them. You know you've crossed the line when even Russia and China go, yeah, you should be sanctioned. This is like when Darth Vader said, I may be evil, but the Emperor is too evil for me. But in recent years, Russia and China have blocked additional sanctions with their veto power. It's hardly surprising, though, given how authoritarians like to stick together. Probably because it makes it easier to turn on each other. Analysts don't expect Russia to join efforts to sanction North Korea for its behavior, both because of its past behavior and because of the current political climate. North Korea has shown it is on Russia's side of the Ukraine conflict.
In the build-up to Russia's invasion, the North's foreign ministry released a column accusing the US of isolating and weakening Russia, while referring to Russia's position as legitimate.
So I guess that means Kim Jong-un doesn't have a Ukrainian flag on his Facebook profile. But then how will everyone know what a good person he is? Both China and Russia have tried to get the UN to ease sanctions on North Korea in recent years, or they've blocked new sanctions from being voted on. According to North Korea Analysts site 38 North, North Korea could be a big beneficiary of Russia's invasion of Ukraine. Beijing and Moscow are willing, for now, to make strengthening ties with Pyongyang a higher priority than denuclearization, to deter the expansion of America and its allies in the region. With Russia now the world's most sanctioned nation, that could bring the two countries even closer. North Korea watcher and former CIA analyst William Brown said he expects to see more trade with Iran and China as well, since the West is their common enemy. He predicted the more this island of countries gets bigger, the more they'll trade and invest within that group. Great! As if it isn't bad enough this planet has an island of trash, now there's an island of evil too. But don't worry, I'm sure there will be a peaceful resolution to all this. Like, maybe Kim Jong-un will discover it's more fun to make movies about nuclear tests than doing real nuclear tests. Until we know for sure, hearing about all this just makes me want to go. So what do you think? Leave your comments below. And if you like this show, remember that we rely mainly on direct support from viewers like you. Please visit our new Locals community at americauncovered.locals.com. Become a supporter and help us keep making great episodes. Click the link below. Once again, I'm Chris Chappell. Thanks for watching America Uncovered.